Hello, this is BBC News. Over 130 of the world's largest charities and aid agencies are calling for the closure of the controversial Israeli US-backed food distribution system in Gaza. Organisations including Oxfam, Save the Children and Amnesty International have accused the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation of flouting all international norms since taking over aid distribution from the UN in May. Israel carried out dozens of air raids across Gaza on Monday, including one at a popular internet beach cafe in Gaza City. The Hamas-run health ministry said at least 60 people had been killed. The Israeli military has not yet commented. It comes as the White House announced that US President Donald Trump will host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu next week. Well, let's go live to Jerusalem now and speak to our correspondent, Wira Davies. And Wira, just talk us through some of the concerns raised by these charities and aid agencies.
Well, look, this relatively new aid organisation, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is Israeli-backed and American-funded, has been operating in Gaza now controversially for about a month. Now, according to various sources from within Gaza, more than 500 people have been killed in and around aid distribution points belonging to GHF since the start of its operations. We've also heard from whistleblowers speaking to an Israeli newspaper from the Israeli army saying that they were ordered to fire on crowds of people even if they weren't posing a threat around these aid distribution points. Now, one of the reasons it's also controversial is because they've got 4 centres, 3 of them in southern Gaza, which means that tens of thousands of people seeking aid have to come to these centres, often in large crowds. It's chaotic. People have been killed. People have died around these centres. And the older charities like Oxfam, Save the Children, they're saying that the existing UN mechanism where aid was taken to much smaller distribution centres, 400 of them across Gaza, which was much more effective and it was far less dangerous. And they've accused the GHF of not going by the normal norms. And this letter, which has been signed by 130 aid organisations, wants a return to the old system, not perfect, but the old system of getting aid to the people in Gaza who need it.
And now, with the announcement of the Prime Minister's visit to Washington, yet another trip for the Prime Minister to Washington, how significant will that be?
Well, look, there is pressure on all sides to achieve a ceasefire. 21 months into the war, more than 55,000 people killed in Gaza, 21 or 22 live hostages still being held in Gaza, and the bodies of maybe 25 others. Many people have been saying for a long time now that Israel has achieved all it can militarily in Gaza. Israel is continuing to lose soldiers in Gaza. Last month, it was a record month for a long time for the number of Israeli soldiers killing Gaza. And of course, as you were pointing out, dozens of people, civilians in Gaza, were killed in Israeli airstrikes yesterday. And that's been the case for several days now. So huge pressure for a peace deal or a ceasefire to be agreed upon. Donald Trump among those putting pressure even on Israel to try and achieve that. Perhaps there might be a breakthrough if Netanyahu sits down with Mr. Trump next week. Perhaps it'll be the start of something, because neither side is really talking indirectly at the minute. And there are still very significant sticking points between the Israelis and Hamas before we get to any ceasefire.
Wira, thank you. That's our correspondent, Wira Davies, in Jerusalem there.